One. Welcome back, everyone, to Sit Downs with Charlie Brown. I'm your host, as always, Charlie Brown, DJ Charlie Brown, whatever floats your boat. And joining me once again he is right to next to me. It is my brother himself, Joe. What's up, Joe?
Hi.
Yeah, he apologizes for looking like a mad scientist. I feel like we should get that out the way first. So, yeah, I know. All right. So we are halfway through the NHL season so far, and I figured I brought you back here by my own coercion to go over what's been happening so far because you're the big hockey expert I know. So, you ready for this?
Sure.
All right. First team I got up, Boston. Okay, so you were able. It turns out that firing Cassidy was the best thing that ever happened. Currently, he has one of the best records in the league and setting records left and right. David Pastrnak proving that he is going to be paid a big ass contract this offseason. They actually have depth scoring, and Linus Allmark is turning into Tuukka Rask slowly. So, okay. I mean, big thing is with me, my thing with Boston, yes, they're good right now, but my question is how long until the boys club screws this up? That's my $1 million question.
Yeah, I mean that's all old people, so like it feels like it's their last chance.
Yeah, because I think like
So
what Bergeron's on a 1 year deal. I don't know. They don't know if they can pay Pasternak, so it's up in the air.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next team we got up Buffalo. The rebuild and progression is on the right track, even to the point where it's a bit ahead of schedule considering they're in playoff contention. Tage Thompson, he is taking the next step into becoming a bona fide superstar. Darlene is living up to his first overall pedigree. Skinner, Cousin, Tuck, all quality depth. I will say Powers and Quinn have stalled a little bit, but they're still young, of course, so I think they can break out of it.
Yeah.
So I'd say like the big question is goaltending because Craig Anderson's cooked, and I think UPL is still trying to develop. So
Yeah. They're a young team. I mean, making the playoffs is just that's the goal for them. Like they're not expected to
yeah,
win
they're
the Stanley Cup or anything, but I think making the playoffs is just a good goal for them.
mm-hmm, yeah,
Maybe win around. Who knows?
yeah. I think they could win around. Round. All right. Next up, Carolina falling short after falling short last season. They have not skipped a beat. As usual, they are one of the best teams in the Metro. Martin Nikas has become a superstar. Svechnikov is as usual. Brent Burns has also turned back the clock to becoming a solid D man. Uh, in terms of goaltending, I found it strange they extended Kochekov this soon, but I mean, it's better than a lot of the Freddie Anderson experience. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
like Carolina. So
I think like right now it's like they're one of the teams to beat in the Metro. So yeah. All right. Now on to one of the more not so good teams, Columbus. Like here's the thing. Like I know at the beginning I said they could be a playoff team. I said here's the issue with it this year. They have not been healthy on the defense. The offense has actually been good. You know, Johnny Hockey's living up to his contract. They have guys like Boone Jenner and others scoring. The problem is the defense is wrecked, and it's just like they can't buy a win. So it's like pretty much goaltending is non-existent. And now I'm starting to think Brad Larson might be on the hot seats.
yeah, but I think they're one of like quite a few teams that are tanking.
Yeah, there's like they're in the Bedard Sweepstakes, so I mean
Yeah,
they're definitely eyeing him at this point, which wouldn't be bad, especially because essentially you bring him in, they can probably get even better. So
yep,
all right, Detroit. Uh, I knew it was a matter of time until Eiserman's plan started kind of coming to fruition. Just kind of feels like something's missing. You don't know what you're going to see from the group most nights. Don't get me wrong, Larkin, and all the other guys are very strong. Philip Hornack, David Perron, all quality signings. Like the big issue that's been plaguing them recently has been goaltending. Ville Husto's actually been solid. what the heck happened to Alex Nedeljkovic? A guy who was in contention for the Calder like 2 years ago suddenly just falls off the face of the earth. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's interesting because I think it's just a matter of when is it actually going to happen. Because like Detroit gets a lot of young talent, and they have a lot of young talent, but
Mm-hmm.
like at some point, I mean, you got to start performing, or
Yeah.
else
Yeah, I
what's the
don't know.
point?
It just feels like like I said, something's missing with them this year, and I just don't
Like
know what it
this is
is.
kind of just like with Buffalo. Like it's when is it actually going to happen?
Yeah.
Like,
Thing is, though, I don't think Detroit's going to turn on Iserman that quickly. Quickly.
no, I
So
don't think they will either. But
yeah, yeah. I think if we're at the same point in like 3 years, then okay, yeah, then it's possible. So yeah.
yeah,
Next up, we have Florida. Why am I not surprised by this? A team that through their entire futures is stalling out and might be screwed. Matthew Kachuk is the only guy actually relevant. Relevant. Most of everything else is just non-existent. Spencer Knight is doing his best to play God in net, but Sergei Bobrovsky is back to his meme form, sadly. Worst
hmm
part is they can't blow it up considering all the big contracts and no firsts until 2026. It feels like that they are teetering on the edge, and I feel like that they're probably going to get they're not going anywhere. So
yeah. I mean, they're in a bad spot where they have too many big contracts they can't really sell.
mm-hmm.
So like you kind of have to compete, but they're not competing. So
Yeah, yeah, I think they might be selling at the deadline. So we'll see. Montreal. I mean, as expected, like it's another year. They're not good. Good. That is to say that they aren't at least showing a progression because both Suzuki and Caulfield are looking legit. Legit. They also have the great story of Arbor who literally came out, was signed in the preseason and has blossomed into a great story for them.
yeah,
I'd say the big thing is though that needs to be addressed is Carey Price because it's clear that he hasn't made it official yet. He's most likely done. So they need to
yeah,
find the heir apparent to him. So
yeah. But like the thing about it is that I think Montreal is very early in the rebuild stage.
mm-hmm.
So it's just going to be a little bit longer. I mean, basically they shut down everyone for surgeries. So
Yeah,
uh, I think it's pretty clear that they're also trying to
yeah,
go
they're another
hard.
team that's in the Bedard looking to get Connor Bedard. Who, for those who are wondering, Connor Bedard's the top player in the NHL or the top prospect in the NHL in this upcoming draft, and I think what just set a goal record for juniors or something like that.
Yeah,
Essentially, he's someone that everyone in the league wants right now. So
maybe.
there's a good couple of teams trying to win his love. So yeah. Next up, New Jersey. Honestly, I'm shocked. I know at the beginning of the year I said it just feels like they were stuck. It seems like this year something's just really clicked with them. Lindy Ruff has gone back to coaching his mid 2000s form forms. They tied the franchise record for most consecutive wins back in October and November. Jack Hughes is turning into a legit stud. Stud.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Heishier, Jesper Bratt, Dougie Hamilton. Their goaltending's been outstanding with Vitek Vanacek. I don't know why, but a team that was like a mess like a year ago is now suddenly one of the best in hockey. It's like I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's finally like the young players are clicking and they're performing, and Jack Hughes is performing like we all thought he would. I think
Yeah.
it just took a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
I
know?
guess one thing I think it is maybe just maturity. They've just finally matured into what people expect from them. So
Yeah, and they're
yeah,
on the up and up. They still got some young talent like Alexander Holtz and Simon Nemec. I
yeah.
want to say his name is. So like
Also,
they
they
still got
have
some young
Luke
talent.
Hughes, which means that
Luke, I completely forgot about it.
yeah,
He'll be back for favorite probably.
they one more Hughes and they'll have the 3-man band. So which we'll get to that when we get closer to Vancouver. So yeah. The Isles. Oh man, I don't know. I don't really know. Like it's one minute they look good, the next they don't. It's like it's a weird flux with this team every year. I mean, at
Barzell.
the with this, I
Or
feel
not
like it's just gonna.
Barzell, Horvat.
Oh yeah, they got Bo Horvat. They do need to if they can. Here's the thing: if they resign him, it's a good trade. But other than that, like I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's one of the weird teams that you don't know what you're going to see from them. And knowing this, now that I say that they'll probably go back to the conference finals because this is how it works.
Yeah, I think it just shows how much more of an impact Barry Trotz had on the team.
Yeah, I think Trotz was definitely one of the main catalysts of this team. So yeah. Now, their brother across the state in the Rangers. It's been a struggle for them if we're being honest. Like, obviously they still have Zibanejad, Kreider producing, but Fox and Panarin have been struggling most of the year. Alexis Lafreniere, many people sadly question if he's legit. I will say though, the Igor is still a beast and rock solid in net, but he can't bail out the defense forever. It's like I don't know what it is, and it's might going to cost them. So
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a playoff team for sure,
yeah,
but it's just a matter of how far.
mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Now, Ottawa. Now, here's the thing. The positive of Ottawa this year, you don't have to deal with Eugene Melnick. And it's not like they're bad. Brady Tkachuk, Claude Giroux, Tim Stützle, and others have been had great seasons. The defense is meh, and Josh Norris got knocked out for the season. Big issue is goaltending because both Talbot and Forsberg are not a decent tandem. So that's the big issue. However, the good news is the sort of the news off the ice is that Eugene Melnick's daughters are looking to sell the team. And I don't know who. I know there's a couple suitors, but the only one I know is freaking Ryan Reynolds wants to buy the team, which would that honestly be bad?
No.
Yeah. So I think this offseason they're gonna go up for sale and then they'll probably start to show signs next season. So just be glad you got talent this year.
Yeah.
All right.
They're still
Now,
pretty young.
yeah, they are pretty young. So Philadelphia. Why are we not shocked by this? The Flyers are a complete mess, and that proves why Chuck Fletcher needs to be fired. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. You can give me the argument how they had a good start, but follow that up with 10 straight and losing 9 of 14. JVR, Hayes, and Sanheim have regressed. Tony Giangelo was brought in to score 7 whole goals and isn't meshing with Torts. Justin Braun and Ristolainen are pylons on the ice. Nick Delorier's only value is in penalty minutes. Carter Hart is trying to stay alive, but is getting killed all the time. It's like, Jesus Christ, when are they gonna just they're currently in the Bedard Sweepstakes as well, and it's like, do you really want him to go here? This is gonna be bad. Also, I apologize in advance if you hear my roommates talking. So
I mean, I'd rather have him go there than Arizona.
I mean, that's actually a good point. So there's that. But first overall pick, baby, here they come. Even though they should deserve it, but they probably will get it because this is how it's working.
Yeah.
All right. Now their cross-state rival, Pittsburgh. I don't know. It's like something they've just been meh this year. They haven't been, I mean, obviously the Crosby, Malkin, and Raquel are still the same scorers as ever. But the issue is like the defense hasn't been bad. Like both Rust has been bad. Gensel's struggled. Chris Letang's had a nightmare season. Tristan Jarry is solid, but is very prone to crumbling in pressure situations. It's like I don't know why. It just feels like they don't scream a playoff team to me. I don't know why.
But they'll probably compete because I know they realize that Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, like, you're not getting any younger, and you really can't trade them. So they're going to try and compete for as long as possible, as long as they have Crosby and Malkin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what they should do.
If I mean, it's not bad. It's just not what it would have. I feel like it's time to write the new chapter, and they can't, or they can't, and they won't. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Tampa Bay. Their start was a bit concerning, but it seems like now they've really rewrited the ship. You know, Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Victor Hedman are still
Never
pretty
concerned.
much what?
Never concerns Tampa.
Yeah, never concerned with those guys. Stamkos also broke the 500 career goal mark for the franchise. The new line of Nick Paul, Alex Killorn, Eric Chernak is holding serve. Vasi is still rock solid. So I think at this point it's just like maybe they could do something at the deadline to like bring in some physicality or maybe some new presence. But other than that, they really don't need anything. So
Yeah, they'll definitely do stuff at the deadline.
yeah. But other than that nothing more you can say. Toronto, it's usually the box standard season they're prone to at this point. High end talent propelling the team. Matthews, Marner, Tavares, all humming. Nylander, already. The defense is sturdy with Giordano and other guys. The goaltending experience is also worked of Samsonov. I would say Matt Murray, but he's an LTR. He's a permanent resident of LTIR. So,
but yeah. I have a question for you.
Oh, shoot.
Does that matter?
Being honest, at this point, not really, no.
What matters is they win the playoff round.
Yeah.
Because then it's just the same old.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have it in my notes. This is what scares me. It's the same script of last year. Only difference, it's just you got to win a playoff round. That's the only reason you can make me give them any credit. So, yeah.
So you can say all that, everything's coming and all.
Mm-hmm. But you got to win a playoff round. I'm with you, bro. So, yeah. All right. The Capitals. Honestly, like this year, like the only thing that really is a big note is Ovi hitting the 800 club, which I mean, it's great. Yeah, he's past Gordie Howe at this point in time.
On the way to Gretzky.
Yeah, he honestly at this rate he might get Gretzky. But I mean, like they're not really the best. Like I don't see him as a playoff team, sadly. But I think like this year it's more about getting Ovi there and cementing his legacy, which honestly it's clear now that like he's locked for the Hall of Fame essentially. So
yeah, I think to them winning a Stanley Cup, I mean they want to win a Stanley Cup, but yeah, I think Ovi is more focused on the goal record.
Yeah, I mean he's got a cup. They have 2018. Like
I mean, even if he doesn't get the goal record, I mean the fact that you're even mentioning him was possibly breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, not many men can say they did that. So, yeah. All right. So now that was the end of the East. Now we are moving on to the West. Anaheim. What is up with you this year? Okay. The only thing I got is they really want Bedard to pair with Zegras. What? Joe, you got to speak up. I can't hear you.
I don't want Bedard to go there.
Yeah, no. It's like, what is wrong with you, this team? Like, Zegras and Henrik are the only guys actually doing something. The power play is bad. The defense is paper soft. John Klingberg's a deer in headlights. I mean, Aikens is butchering this, and it's insane. Like, to think they have one of the best talents in hockey, yet they are somehow this bad. So, it's just maddening. And I don't know what you do. Anaheim. Tell me what you do. So, yeah. Now, Arizona. What else do you need to say? Then it's pretty much Clayton Keller and Jacob Chychrun counting the days until they can leave this place. The glorious quest of Connor Bedard continues on in the desert. I don't know how this team got a new arena. Explain that to me. They are close to getting it. It's like, do they even deserve to be here? I mean, sorry for any Yotes fans who tune in, but it's like, come on. Really? Let them be. So we're going to just move along to Calgary. So old habits die hard with this team. It just seems like, I get they overhauled the core, but it just seems like for all the moves they did, it's just like they haven't been living up to them, which I mean, it is what it is. You know, they at least overhauled it instead of delayed the same core of Gaudreau, Monahan, Giordano, those kind of guys. So
Yeah. I mean, Chuck said he wanted out, so
yeah,
he got out.
yeah.
Or
You
left.
simply can just at least that's a good plus. You have Florida's first, so
Yeah.
yeah. All right, now we go to the Windy City. It is another team that is in the glorious quest for Connor Bedard. Bedard. I mean, what else can you say? Like this offseason, they traded everything to get for a glorious tank. Seth Jones is still an albatross. Max Domi, Jonathan Taves, Taylor Radish, all not good. Patrick Kane is rumored to want out. Like they've used 5 goalies this year. 3 of them have over 30 goals allowed. You know it's that bad. Someone saved Jake. The only reason it's not worse is because Jackson Stauber, Mankato State grad, is only decent. So
Jackson Stauber.
yeah, he's literally like a 5th string backup they just called up like a few weeks ago. So he went to Mankato. That's why I mentioned him.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Colorado. Now they winning the cup is one thing. Getting back there is harder. It's not like they're bad. Like we see McKinnon, Rantanen, McCarr all show why they're paid the big bucks. Big issue is they've been affected by injuries. Byron, Landeskog, Sosa, and Nichushkin have all been out. Like recently, they've been on a great winning streak, mostly because Cale Makar has ascended into a new echelon. But I mean, I still think like they're looking to defend, which I think they can do, but they got to be healthy.
I mean, the fact that they're in a playoff spot is pretty good for them with all the injuries they've had.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
think they
think like
started last year with a lot of injuries, and look where that ended up with them.
yeah, I think they definitely can probably defend. The question is, can they get healthy in time? So,
Yep.
all right, Dallas. Congratulations, Dallas. You are experiencing first year of Peter DeBoer. Stars are at the top of the division, and to be fair, that's what Peter DeBoer can usually do for a team in his first year. Jason Robertson has emerged into one of the best left wingers in hockey. Hintz, Pavelski, and others are supporting him, and Jake Ottinger is once again back to being a brick wall in net. So, I mean, the question is like, is this really a different team? Like, do they have what it is? Because I feel like with Peter DeBoer, it's yes, he can get you good results early on, but there's a warning label for like say years 3 and 4. So
yeah, I mean their biggest thing is Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. There's those contracts.
I mean,
They're
here's
bringing
the
down the
thing.
team.
They're probably at this point they considering how injury prone they are, they just may be like they just may just let them be there because like they have Robertson paid, they have Ottinger paid. I think like as long as young talent can keep emerging, they can get there. But
pay the young guys.
yeah, that's the question. You're gonna have to pay the young guys? So all right, now we're finally at Edmonton because I know you've wanted to talk about them this whole time. So I will admit they've been doing all right this year. Leon and Connor are pretty much proving, yeah, they're winning. All right, I can't even like hell. I can't. I want to rip Zach Hyman, but he's actually earning his contract.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Evander, I also can't rip Kane because he's been dealing with injury in his back. Big thing though is defense is a bit suspect. I know Clefbaum's been out, but they shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that big of a problem. Bigger issue: the Jack Campbell project in net. He's not been good, man. He's I don't you. He was supposed to be the savior of this team, not be the next Mike Smith.
Well,
all right.
Just wait till they call up Ryan Fanti.
Yeah, be thankful Stuart Skinner's actually been decent. Otherwise, they'd be a dumpster fire. So,
yeah.
All right. Right. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about Edmonton. LA. I don't know what to make. They've been inconsistent this year. Like obviously they have talent and they're showing it. The problem is, can they keep it sustainable? That's my big issue because I'd say like one minute they're beating teams, the next they aren't. So,
I mean, they're kind of a pretty young team,
mhm.
so
Yeah, but
they'll
I
get
think that's
there.
the thing is though that many people had them as a team for the cup this year, and they're
No, I
not
don't
there.
think they're at the cup yet.
Yeah. Also, I would say goaltending is now starting to show concerns. I mean, Quick's been struggling, but I mean, he's an older guy. Like, it happens. The big issue is Cal Peterson. Wasn't he supposed to be the goalie of the future? How come he's getting replaced by Phoenix Copley in the lineup?
Yeah,
That's a bit concerning. So you should got to fix that. But
yeah.
other than that, just they're in a playoff spot, and I think they'll probably be there. I don't know how far they get. So now, Minnesota Wild. Uh, it started out rough this year, but they were able to get back on track. I mean, we kind of saw this coming. Like Kaprizov still who he is him essentially. Boldy was extended to a 7x7. Although big issue now is still having issues at center because Rossi's been meh, like we don't know with him. Sam Steele for some reason has come out of nowhere. Defense was also an issue, but I think they're still going to have to trade Dumba, and apparently Ryan Reeves was the answer. Also, Philip Gustafson is pretty much been on fire, which I don't know why, but okay. I mean, to be fair, like, what did we expect? Bill Guerin had limited cap space, and he's doing probably one of the best jobs, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, can't complain either.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. All right, Nashville. This is the early days of the East Coast. They're the East Coast Minnesota Wild. No offense whatsoever. No offense whatsoever. Forsberg, Nita Ryder, and other guys can't get going. I get the defense is young, but really, the only reason this team's relevant is Yusei Saros. So
yeah,
they got to either emerge or do something. So
yeah, I think they need to rebuild.
yeah, it might be time. So all right, St. Louis, just like I don't know why, but they've been off this year. Like the only reason they like maybe I think recently they've been on a good streak, but the thing is like it's just been I don't know. One minute they're great, the next they're just all over the place.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So
Like I know they have talent like Kyrou, Perunovic, and others, but I think
Perunovich.
yeah, your boy Perunovic, but yeah. But here's the big question I have. We got to talk about Jordan Binnington. The dude's the modern day Ron Heck style. You don't know why he's going to blow up, just that he does. It's like he just gets pissed off over this most minuscule stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
kind of has attitude.
Yeah.
Gets in the way.
Mm-hmm. Now the Sharks. I mean, it's the same song and dance it's been for years. Like
Also
they've been
Bedard.
stuck. They've been stuck. And like Eric Carlson is having a great season. The problem is nothing else is around him. Defense is bad. Goaltending's a mess. Power play is abysmal. It's like, what more do you need? What more do I need to say about them? It's like they're in a rebuild, and I think they are in the Bedard Sweepstakes as
Oh, they
well.
are.
Like,
They are.
yeah, they are in the Bedard Sweepstakes. So that's what you mostly can be said about them. Now, Seattle. This team, this is the one I have a lot of notes for. This team has actually they are proving that their first season was a bit of a I don't know. No, this year they have actually been very respectable. Well, Andre Burakovsky having a career revival, Jared McCann, Matty Beniers, and Daniel Sprong making up a very strong team. Guys like Dunn and Larson and Alexiak. Yeah. Even Shane Wright in the small flashes we saw pretty good results. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they were I had them as a sleeper team to make the playoffs and
yeah.
looking like that is going true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely will. I think they definitely make it in. So Yeah. All right. But yeah. One final thing I did want to mention with Seattle, Martin Jones has somehow turned back the clock for some reason. Okay, so yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Seattle, I think, is definitely just here's the thing, Seattle. Do not turn out like Vegas. Please do not turn out like Vegas. So
I like Seattle though.
yeah, I definitely do. So yeah. Now, Vancouver. What the happened? You finally shown signs of progress. All those free agent acquisitions finally being free from Jim Benning, and your response is going into the fetal position. Why? Explain to me. Now they have chosen to the opening to the season of 0-7 should have been the ultimate signifier. Now they have chosen to bust out the tanks and try and get Connor Bedard to come home, which honestly I don't know if he should, considering how bad ownership is at this point. They just traded, like I said, they just traded Bo Horvat to the Islanders. Rumors of Miller, Besser, Peterson are growing hotter each day. At this point, Quinn Hughes just wants to go to New Jersey to be with his brothers. OEL and Garland are horrible. It's like, oh my God. And worst of all, how they treated Bruce Boudreau. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest fan of Bruce. I wasn't the biggest fan of Bruce, but I felt like he still got messed over because of what they did to him over Rick Tocchet. They chose him over Rick Tocchet. Oh my God.
But locker room cancer, JT Miller.
God, Joe, this team is so screwed. Did they actually call him a cancer? I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's videos of like, the pucks that you hit at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like goes out first and then like hits all the pucks before anyone else can get them, and everyone's like locker room cancer.
God. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. So
It's a
Vegas.
comedy, and I love watching it.
Yeah, they've been a comedy reel, and it's gonna just continue until the end of the season. So yeah. All right. Now, Vegas. Oddly enough, it seemed like bringing in Bruce Cassidy was the good choice, and there hasn't been much coming out about them. Riley Smith and Jack Eichel, when healthy, have been their main contributors. Chandler Stevenson's been having a decent year. Logan Thompson's been okay. So big question is how long until things go wrong and then their fan base becomes insufferable again. So
Yeah.
yeah. Also, there's word about Mark Stone having problems now. I don't know what that's about. So
Yeah.
that can't be good. So
We'll find out a way to do stuff.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. All right. Winnipeg. This was a team that I thought was going to be bad this year. They've somehow turned it around. Okay. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Pierre-Luc Dubois have been all having solid years. Their defense has turned from paper thin to rock solid. Connor Hellbuck isn't getting lit up like a Christmas tree every night. So I don't really know. It's like, okay, so I guess you're not who we thought they were. So
Yeah, it's kind of shocking. I didn't think Winnipeg would be.
yeah, because you heard a lot of the stuff like in training camp, like how they stripped Blake Wheeler of the captaincy, and now it's like it looks like looking at it now, it's like it worked, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's not like Winnipeg is bad per se, but like I don't know. It was just they didn't feel like making the playoffs.
Yeah.
It just felt like they were better teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So those are all the teams. So now I figured we'd go over the top four we have as we sort of move into the second half. So Atlantic, I'd say for me, Boston is number one. They mostly have they're the only team that still has single digit losses this year. So there's no way no one's catching them. I'd say my number two, I think, is going to be Tampa. Tampa. 3, I'd say 3 is Toronto, and then my 4. It's tough because it's a tight, very close division, but I think it's Sabres. I really do think it's the Sabres. So
Yeah. Interesting fact about Boston, though. Uh, this was like last week, so this might be slightly an outdated statistic, but the gap between Boston and the second place team, who I want to say is Carolina, but I don't know for sure.
yeah, it is. Yes, it is Carolina.
So the gap in points between those two is the same amount between Carolina and whoever the second 21st team is.
Yeah,
That's
it's
insane.
yeah, it's just like it
That's how
feels.
far ahead Boston is. And I think they will win this division because I
Mhm.
think they could probably go like 500 the rest of the way
Yeah.
and probably still win.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I would go Boston, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Buffalo.
Yeah, I'd say that's same picks. So yeah. All right, the Metro. This is another one that is very, very closely knit. I think Carolina's still the number one team. They have 9 losses this year still. They're the only team that's sort of left that has single digit losses. 2 is the Devils. 3, I'd say, is the Rangers, and then my 4 team is because right now both Washington, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders are all sort of fighting for that 4th spot. I got to go with the Islanders. I think they have the ability to piece it together and get the wins needed to slip in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with on you with Carolina. Before going into the season, Carolina is actually my pick to win Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty good so far. Number 2, I would probably go Rangers because I think they're going to jump the Devils because I think the talent in New York is there, and I think if they can just pull it together the last bit of the season, they'll probably jump the Devils. And I think Pittsburgh probably slides in at 3, and then New Jersey at 4.
Yeah, yeah, I could
I
see
just
that.
think Pittsburgh is an experienced team, so I think they're gonna make a push for the playoffs. And then New Jersey, they're gonna be fighting with like Washington, I
Mm-hmm.
think, and the
Yeah.
Islanders. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the wild card is going to be interesting because I think if you add those 3, there's going to be at least 3 teams from the Metro and Buffalo that are going to be competing for probably 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right. So moving over to the West, the Central Division. So for me, I think Dallas still takes the division just because they've had it at the top for a bit of for majority of the year. I'd say my number 2 team, the Avalanche. 3 is Minnesota. 4 is Winnipeg. So
you see, the Central is just tough.
yeah, it's tough because all these teams are like 1 or 2 games behind each other. So I mean, like there's a like hell at this point the Blues could jump back into the mix. Like the Preds could jump back into
Yeah,
the
like,
mix. So
I mean, yeah, I would probably go Dallas. Colorado will probably figure it out and go on a run.
yeah, I think they either get to the 1 spot or they get to the 2 spot. I think with
Yeah,
how they've been playing, they proved they just need 1 or 2 of their guys to show up and they can get up in the rankings. So
yeah. I think Dallas, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Colorado. I think those are the 4 teams that I would say I feel confident about, but like I
mhm.
can't tell you like an order.
Yeah, I
I feel
feel
confident.
yeah, you don't need to really mention an order. I just say that because I think I'm just going based off how both teams are trending like now. Because I think Winnipeg's just kind of been like fluctuating a little bit, and I don't think Minnesota's real. I think Minnesota has like enough to maintain the hold. I don't think they have enough to get get higher. So
Yeah,
yeah,
It's just tight.
Yeah. So Pacific, it's another tight division once again. So I'd say number one team. I don't know why. I think the Knights get it. I think the Knights get the number one spot. My number two spot goes to the Kraken. 3 of the Oilers, 4 the Kings. Because my thing is with the Kings is like they've been inconsistent this year, and I know they're young. The problem is that I think like with a lot of the other like here's the thing, like when it comes playoff time, you're most likely going to have to go up against someone like either McKinnon, like a McCann, Can or Beniers, like the talent, like the guys in Vegas. Like it's like I don't know if you can trust them at this point in time.
See, going over this right now, except for probably Colorado, who's the defending Cup champ, I don't know. I don't know if I feel confident about any of the Western Conference teams
Yeah.
because it's not like. Well, first, let me just say, I think I have Seattle, Kings, Oilers, and then Vegas as my top four. But like thinking about it, I just think like there's just so many questions I have with like a lot of the top teams in the West, like Colorado, like
Yeah.
they're the defending Cup champs, but
They can't stay healthy.
they can't stay healthy, and like they lost a little bit in the offseason with like Kadri. So like, how are the young guys stepping up in the roles? Like, can they defend?
Yeah.
Dallas, I mean, how far can they go? Because like,
They do have Peter DeBoer, who tends to get stubborn with his tactics. So
yeah. So I don't know how far they can
yeah.
go. Seattle's
Plus,
just a good story. Same with LA. Like both of them, they're young. I don't expect much. I think just going to the playoffs for them is probably a nice thing. Oilers, they could compete, but like as we mentioned, their defense is
they have
suspect.
their weaknesses. They have
Yeah, and they're kind of
massive
just carried
weaknesses.
by McDavid and Draisaitl. As much as I hate to admit it, but that if there is a weakness with the Oilers, that's it. Is that they're kind of carried by those two players. So like, I kind of just look at the West and like, there's so many questions where like the East, I can go like Tampa Bay. They can probably. I feel confident that no matter what
Yeah,
happens,
like the
they can
East,
go
I think
to the
here's
Cup.
the thing. In the
Same with
East, you have
Boston and like Carolina.
East
I feel
has a
confident.
lot more loaded and complete teams. The problem is in the West, 5 teams in this division are in this conference are tanking for Connor Bedard. That's the big issue. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, I'd say like it's going to be very interesting. Sting. One final question for before we sort of log off, because I mentioned Connor Bedard. In the end, who do you think wins? Who do you think where do you think he heads? Because by the time this goes up, like we'll probably be post after the draft. So,
Ooh, I don't
or
know.
yeah, I'd say.
Uh, what did you? What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. I think like obviously at this point in time, you got it. It's whoever has the worst record, and I'd say looking at it right now, like the team that I'd say is probably, I'd say for me, it's either going to be the Blue Jackets or the Blackhawks, as much as I hate to admit it, because both those teams are horrible. So
Well, there's a lot of horrible teams, but I don't know. I feel like Blue Jackets, Canadians,
yeah,
Sharks, like those are three teams that I would be fine with. Chicago, I would be fine with. As long as he doesn't go to Anaheim or Arizona, I think I'm fine with
yeah,
that.
yeah. So yeah. Any final things you want to say, Joe, before we close out our our All-Star break recap?
No,
Oh,
a Stanley
no.
Cup team's still
Yeah,
chugging along.
yeah. I forget. I think I had Kane. I had Kane's abs. So I mean, I'm still in it, but it's still going to be a work. But other than that, thank you so much, Joe, for
I
joining
mean,
me again.
I
Hope.
mean, with my predictions, I was so close to my Super Bowl prediction this year, just as a comment,
Yeah,
because I had both the 49ers and Bengals to win
yeah.
the
I
Super
was. Oh, you really did have. Oh, nice. So, I mean, to be honest, I had the Vikings, but I knew that that was a pipe dream. That was a
Bowl. Yeah.
fucking pipe dream. So yeah. Uh, with that being said, thank you so much, Joe, again for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you back here when the postseason starts. So, peace, everyone.
All right.